Srila Prabhupada mentions that we can know for sure that he will never pass away, for he is living still in sound. As he himself said, I will never die, I will live forever in my books. When a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, what will happen to your movement when you are no longer there? When you are physically not there, what will happen? What a famous quote of Srila Prabhupada, which we have heard a couple of times, that I will never die, I will live forever in my books. So Srila Prabhupada, Acharyas are always present in different forms, especially with the disciples. But if Prabhupada in particular form, in which form he wanted, he said, I will be living with the disciples in the form of books, in the form of his teachings. So in the days and years to come, may everyone come to remember Srila Prabhupada in the same way that he remembered his spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada, when he was remembering Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, during his one of the disciples lecture, Prabhupada is telling, still he is living in sound. Similarly, we as disciples of Srila Prabhupada have to remember, cherish the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada so that those instructions, those teachings will become stepping stone for our spiritual progress. So we all know Prabhupada by 1977, towards the just starting of 1977, Prabhupada was very sick. So Prabhupada was in Bombay that time. Prabhupada had stopped taking any solid food. Prabhupada was just sustaining himself with half a glass of orange juice. That was the only intake which Prabhupada was taking every day. So that time, almost, there were no public meetings, no classes, no darshan, no morning walk. Prabhupada was actually confined to the bed, almost. So then even any guest, whenever they come, so they were not allowed to meet. So Prabhupada was in his private quarters. So when Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, the Pancharatrika priest, Prabhupada had met him and Prabhupada visited Srirangam. So in that way he knew Prabhupada, Prabhupada also knew him. So he takes flight from Chennai to Mumbai, from Madras, Chennai to Mumbai where Prabhupada was living. Generally a Brahmana, a priest, he cannot afford flight and all, but somehow he managed and he took a flight and he comes to Mumbai. Then he asked that, I want to meet Srila Prabhupada. Disciple said, no, Prabhupada is very sick. We are not allowing any public meetings. He says, no, I have very, 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 very important to discuss with him, that too with him alone. I have to meet him privately. Then after some time, after the discussion, then he tells that I have taken flight from Chennai, all the way from Chennai to Bombay, just to meet Swamiji, just to meet Prabhupada. Then he goes, then everyone were told to go out. Only Prabhupada and Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya were there in the room. So, but later, how this conversation came out, because generally when along with Prabhupada, recorder used to be there. All Prabhupada's activities used to, they used to record. They always used to keep it ready so that any precious moment, any instruction from Prabhupada, anytime devotees are ready to record that and keep it for next generation devotees to take benefit of that. So they had left the recorder on. Everyone comes out. Then Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya is asking Srila Prabhupada, and just read about important things. Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, Swamiji, I am feeling very pained that you are suffering like this. So Prabhupada is laying down, or Prabhupada is not able to speak properly. So Prabhupada was speaking in broken words, very, very soft voice, not able to hear properly like that. Then Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, when he said that, I am feeling pain that you are suffering like this. Prabhupada is replying, the whole world is meant for suffering. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So this is the nature of this world. We cannot expect happiness. Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya. But still, Swamiji, there are so many people depending on you. So when you suffer, they suffer. Prabhupada, what can I do? Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya is replying, Swamiji, I want to tell you something important. In Vrindavan temple, they are having your deity on the altar, and all kinds of people are coming and paying and praying to it. Prabhupada, Krishna Balram temple, Prabhupada, in the Gaur Nitai altar, Prabhupada is there, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarva Thakur, marble deities are there. So all kinds of people are coming and praying to it and offering flowers to it, and you are still living according to Pancharatra, because he is a Pancharatra priest from Srirangam, from Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Pancharatra, they also strictly follow Pancharatra system, like how we follow. So according to Pancharatra, when an Acharya is living, if he puts his deity on the altar, then all the sufferings of people are coming to this body through the deity. So through the deity, all the suffering of the people praying to the deity, it comes to the body of the Acharya, because Acharya is still living. That's why, as per the Pancharatra, his deity is not kept in the altar as long as he is living. After he leaves the body, then it can be kept. So you please tell your disciples to worship your deity only after you leave your body. So Prabhupada, do you have anything else to say? Almost like disagreement. Then Bhattacharya, Swamiji, it's okay. He replies that you take out your body. Then Prabhupada replies that I have come to take the sufferings of the people. That is the purpose of my appearance on this world. So then Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya was taken back. He was thinking that some important piece of information I am going to give to Prabhupada. But it was not something which was not aware of to Prabhupada. Prabhupada already knew why he is suffering more, because of the people, general public, or even disciples, in case if they are not practicing properly. So all their karma, all their sinful reactions, Prabhupada has to take, and Prabhupada has to suffer for those things. So then Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya was like taken back. Already Swamiji knows, and then he started, appreciating that, how magnanimous he is. He is ready to suffer for others, for his disciples, for the general public. Then finally asked, Prabhupada asked, do you have anything else to say? Then Bhattacharya replying, Swamiji, if that is your wish, what can I say? I am only a priest. I can only suggest what from the Shastras, but if it is your wish, what can I say? Prabhupada. Then last Prabhupada statement, when I leave, I will keep continuing taking their suffering and make them free so they can keep chanting Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada makes a final statement. Okay, not only now, when I am leaving, my deity is there, that's why all the sufferings are coming to me. Even after I leave this body, still I'll keep continuing taking their suffering. And what for? Why Prabhupada wants to take suffering? So that they keep chanting Hare Krishna. How we can understand from this how magnanimous, how compassionate Srila Prabhupada was for his disciples. Today we are sitting in a nice place. We are situated in a protective environment in the organization. We are able to practice, see certain countries where even practicing bhakti is not so easy. Yesterday there was an article in Bangladesh. One of these devotees are also booked under sedition law. Sedition law means a person who is working against the interest of the country. So to those persons are booked under sedition law, a law to protect the interest of the country. Anyone who is working against the interest of the country, so they are booked and they are given a severe punishment. So many Hindu leaders, including the ISKCON devotees, are booked under the sedition law because they are trying to protect the Hindu community there. So how difficult it is, even practicing bhakti in this world is not so easy. We are able to sit, we are without any regulation, we can do Rath Yatra, we can go and do any Sankirtan, any classes. That's not the case in many parts of the world. So we are able to practice. It's all Srila Prabhupada's mercy. An organization has been created where people can come. Why is Rotary Club, Lions Club, or any other clubs in that way? Polo Club, golf clubs. Why they are made? So that like-minded people can come together and they can execute the will of that organization, execute the objectives of the organization. So Lion Club is meant for some charity works. So the members, everyone contribute together in the name of Lions Club. They do some charitable activity. So similarly, this organization is called, Prabhupada created this worldwide organization. Why? All the like-minded people can come together, practice Krishna consciousness and take that benefit. So Prabhupada didn't make just an organization. Prabhupada personally overseeing that everyone is chanting Hare Krishna nicely. For that, whatever is required, Prabhupada is ready to take. Even the sufferings of those disciples, even the sinful reactions of the disciples. So Prabhupada, certain, like as we read, Krishna's appearance, disappearance. Similarly, a great Acharya's appearance or disappearance, there is no difference. So why there is no difference? In one of the prayers, Akrura is offering praise to Krishna Balaram. In that prayer, he chants that Avatirno Jagatyarte Swamshena Balakeshavo. So Balaram and Krishna is referring to Krishna and Balaram. Avatirno, you appeared, you descended for what? Jagat Arte, for the welfare of the whole world. Jagat Arte, to liberate this whole world, you appeared very mercifully. Similarly, when Krishna has to depart, everything is planned. When Lord Rama has to depart, there is a certain way. It's mentioned in Ramayana how Lord Rama, disappeared, departed from this world. So they just come, they go. It is not called as death anniversary. Disappearance. A person appeared here, just disappeared. So it's not like an ordinary death, like how we see any person leaving the body. Apparently, it may look, yes, Prabhupada also underwent bodily sufferings, bodily pains, that jara especially, the body becoming dilapidated, body becoming very old. It's an external symptoms. Internally, Prabhupada was still situated. We will be discussing certain pastimes from Vrindavan in 1977 in September, October month. Just months. Prabhupada disappeared on November 14th, 1977, as per the date. So November. So there are so many pastimes, so many interactions with Srila Prabhupada in those just few days, where Srila Prabhupada's consciousness was very crystal clear when it comes to the Krishna conscious understanding. How Prabhupada was guiding, instructing his disciples to run this movement very successfully. So Prabhupada knew what purpose he has come, and Prabhupada also knew when he has to depart. It is not that, like for us, birth is forced, death also is forced. No one wants to die in this world. If there is any chance or an opportunity given, everyone would want to postpone the death. I have a few more responsibilities. Let me just complete those. And let me just wind up my business, everything properly, hand it over to my son. Then I'll die. No. We are all forced to die. We are all forced to even take birth. Our birth is not as per our wish. Our birth is based on our karma. Based on our karma, we are forced to take birth in certain body. But whereas in the case of a spiritual master, or in the case of a Supreme Lord, or his representatives, everything is as per their wish. Srila Prabhupada in one conversation he mentions, Krishna wanted me to come to this material world, and Krishna told me particularly what was the instruction of Krishna to Prabhupada before he descended to this world. Write books. That was the special instruction of, particular instruction of Krishna. You should go and write books and propagate my glories. Prabhupada says, no, it's an horrible place, I don't want to go. Krishna says, don't worry, I'll make all arrangements. You need not have to worry. You need not have to fear this material world. So that means it was Krishna's wish, and then Prabhupada accepted and he came. He was not forced to take birth. Similarly, from these conversations, from this understanding, like the excuse me, Hare Krishna. So from this conversation, from the conversation with the Bhattacharya, we can understand that Prabhupada doing everything. It was not something new information is giving. Prabhupada also already knew. Yes, I am taking the sinful reactions of the disciples, of the general public, those who are coming and offering prayers. In the Prabhupada is in the deathbed in Vrindavan. So there Prabhupada is writing, Prabhupada conversation basically it is, that Harisori, the Harisori Prabhu was one of the long-serving Prabhupada assistant. He was assisting Srila Prabhupada. So he has written a Transcendental Diary by Harisori Das. So he has written a biography of Srila Prabhupada. So it is mentioned that just before Prabhupada left his body, just few days before, Harisori had obtained another detailed astrological chart on Srila Prabhupada from Delhi. So everyone will try different means. Prabhupada is lying on the bed, he's not moving only, he's confined to the bed. So everyone is trying how we can try to save Prabhupada. So he goes to Delhi, meets some astrological astrologer, and he asks him how we can prolong his life. Then some astrologer gave something. He said, astrologer recommended a mantra to Lord Shiva to be chanted by 10 Brahmanas for 21 days. These are all mentioned in the Karma Kanda. Yes, one can prolong his life, but how can a person prolong his life? If an expert astrologer or if an expert Brahmana, if he wishes, yes, he can prolong, but that is not actually prolongation, it is taking something from the next life. So then he comes and tells to Srila Prabhupada that these 21 Brahmanas, 10 Brahmanas for 21 days, if they chant this mantra of Lord Shiva, so Prabhupada, you can be cured. You can live for more years now. So Prabhupada, we have the Maha Mantra. There is no need of others. He spoke disapprovingly to the suggestion. Are these astrological charts very much applicable for devotees, Srila Prabhupada? Then he asked, Harisori is asking Srila Prabhupada, this astrological chart, some suggestions, all these things applicable for devotees? No, said Srila Prabhupada. Don't waste money for this astrology. So Srila Prabhupada's faith was only in Kirtan. Tamal Krishna suggested that they again have continuous Kirtan, and Prabhupada said that is real business. These astrologers are karmis. We have nothing to do with the karmis. So just do Hari Kirtan. Just let me peacefully leave this body while listening to this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Otherwise, I don't have any other desire. So one more instruction, one more instance where Prabhupada is referring to, he has already made up his mind to leave this body. So I just open that. Yes. So in the September or October month, Prabhupada called his, already many devotees were surrounded by, they were trying to serve Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada tells them that call all the GBC members. So if they have anything to ask, they can ask now. So that was an indication that Prabhupada is preparing for his final journey. So everyone became concerned, everyone became little afraid. But it's a Prabhupada instruction, so called all the GBC members. So each GBC member was in different parts of the world. So they all started coming back. One by one, they started arriving in Vrindavan. So as soon as they come, they would come and meet Prabhupada, ask for his, check about his health updates, all those things. So on occasion, actually Prabhupada's calling GBC man together had been so they could chant for him. No, Prabhupada wanted them to chant and also ask for any clarifications, anything if GBC members want to ask as a final instruction from Srila Prabhupada. No, more than ever, he wanted the medicine of the holy name, not of the doctors. So when he heard that his friend Dr. Ghosh, if you remember Dr. Ghosh from Kolkata, where Prabhupada was even working in that Dr. Ghosh laboratory. So he said that when he came to know Prabhupada is sick, he said, no, I'll come and open a clinic in Vrindavan and I'll treat A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami there. Prabhupada said, strictly refused, no. These doctors will come and give something to try and save. He said, I don't want to be saved. Dr. Ghosh may come for the clinic he wants to develop, but for not for my treatment. The Krishna asked if they could at least call in some local Vrindavan doctors. Prabhupada said, no. Let us take your advice for Kirtan only. Tamal Krishna agreed that Kirtan was best because in that way they are pleading for Krishna's self. Then he said that we will also suggest Kirtan only so that in that way we are praying to Krishna to save you. Prabhupada replied, better don't pray to Krishna to save me, said Srila Prabhupada. Let me die now. Prabhupada then asked to sit up. Then Prabhupada said, if devotees are not tired, they can continue singing. So Prabhupada already knew, Prabhupada has made up his mind, this is the time for me to leave this world. It's not that one fine day, accidentally, Prabhupada left his body. That's why many instructions were incomplete, especially when it comes to the Guru issue, when discussions come. No, it's not like that. Whatever instruction had to be given, like in the further conversations with the GBC members, when they arrive, Prabhupada has given a very clear-cut instruction on how his movement should be run in the future, especially initiation ceremony, all those things. So Prabhupada has already prepared for his journey. So that is available only with those pure devotees, where they can even decide when they want to leave the body. And like for us, we are forced to leave the body. So that's why we need not have to lament the disappearance of an acharya, our spiritual master. Yes, naturally, human sentiment tendency is to lament for that, but when an acharya leaves the body, it's also equally glorious. That is the reason we celebrate appearance day and disappearance day both in same manner. There is no difference between appearance and disappearance. For both of them, he came for the welfare of the public, and while he is leaving the body, that is also for the welfare of others, to protect us so that we can chant nicely. That's what Prabhupada wanted. So Prabhupada is lying on the deathbed. He's not taking any food. At least in Mumbai, he was taking half a glass of orange juice. Here in Vrindavan, he was taking only 2-3 spoons of Charanamrut. That was the only food intake which Prabhupada used to take. So Prabhupada is in that condition. Even in that condition, how Prabhupada is very, very, very conscious. So another pastime is there where Prabhupada was so conscious about the management aspects, and he is giving instructions to the disciples. A little before 4 in the afternoon, while devotees were reading aloud from Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada asked if the temple bell had rung the hour. So Prabhupada had made a system. Prabhupada wanted that now that big bell is there outside Krishna Balram temple, a very big brass bell. So Prabhupada wanted that every hour, indicating that hour, if it is 4 hours, 4 bells should be rung. And every half an hour, 1 single bell should be rung. So that it indicates that, okay, it is half an hour now. Next, it will rung 3 times to indicate 3. Then one bell, 1 single ring to indicate it is 3.5. Then again 4 to indicate it is evening 4 p.m. So sometimes, especially when Akshayananda Swami was the temple president in 1972, just after the inauguration, 72-73, he had a very, very difficult, because Prabhupada in the night time when he is translating, he would call Akshayananda. Why they did not ring the bell? Middle in the night, 12 o'clock, Prabhupada is asking, he is coming with his, eyes, because he is also asleep. In the middle of the night, Prabhupada is waking him up. Prabhupada used to scold him so badly. What kind of a temple president are you? You are not able to manage one simple activity. This shows that the punctuality, the discipline in the temple management. Because some security guards, once 2 days later he will change, he will forget. Sometimes he will forget to ring at 12 p.m. So Prabhupada was very strict. So now even in 1977, before leaving the body, Prabhupada is asking if the bell had rung the hour ever since the temple opening in 1970s, 73, 74, Prabhupada was insisting. So then a disciple said, yes, Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada was insisting so strongly that temple management had finally established bell ringing. So now Srila Prabhupada was saying he thought he heard the bell ring at the wrong time. Prabhupada is thinking it did not ring at right time. They have rung the bell, they have baja to diya, but galat time pe. Then Tamal Krishna explained, it might have been a different bell and the devotees continued reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Prabhupada again asked about the bell in the temple dome. Then as Harisori, then finally some Harisori Prabhu thought, let me go and check whether they rang the bell or not. As Harishori rose to go out and check, the bell began loudly ringing 1, 2, 3, 4 because it was 4 p.m. So Prabhupada does just few minutes before 4 p.m., maybe 3:50, 3:55 in the evening. So it rang. So then Prabhupada said, that is my concern, said Srila Prabhupada, that such a huge establishment is properly managed. If not properly managed, then everything will be finished. So simple instructions, simple incidences, ringing the bell, how it can be related to the temple management. But Prabhupada wanted everything to be so disciplined, so timely, everything should happen. So that's the way he wanted to run his organizations. That's the way he was expecting his disciples also to run the organizations in that way. So that a huge establishment is properly managed. If not properly managed, then everything will be finished. I don't think that that's going to happen, said Tamal Krishna. He said, no, Prabhupada, don't worry, we will not allow that to happen. We are too much indebted to you to allow what you have established to become spoiled. Then Prabhupada said, please see to that it is not spoiled. So as devotees, as disciples of Srila Prabhupada, at every moment we have to be conscious that things are maintained properly. So not only the things, even our own personal life, it has to be properly managed, it has to be properly maintained so that we serve Srila Prabhupada. That was the desire of Srila Prabhupada. Every devotee is properly situated, and when every devotee is properly situated, when he is performing his duties properly, then organization also will be maintained properly. That's quite natural to happen. So whenever we speak about Srila Prabhupada pastimes, if we don't include his love for books, which is incomplete. So Prabhupada again is in Vrindavan, is lying on the bed, is not able to move. So by then, they had sent information to all the GBC members. So GBC members were coming. So Harikesh Maharaj, he was sent to preach in Germany. So he was already printing many different books of Srila Prabhupada in German language. So Srimad Bhagavatam second canto, and then Ishopanishad, and some other books in German language were getting printed. As soon as he received the information, he called up the publisher and said, I want all these books to be printed in next 1 week's time. Because I want to take it to Vrindavan, because he has to go to Vrindavan. He has received the call from Prabhupada that all the GBC members should come. So it somehow with great difficulty collects all the books. Even publishers were saying, how can we prepone that? We have already planned. But he said, nothing doing. I want these books. So he takes the books, he comes to Vrindavan. So when he comes to Vrindavan, when he just comes to Prabhupada quarters door in Vrindavan, a devotee told him that he could not bring the books to Srila Prabhupada now. You cannot show these, you cannot bring these books inside. So he asked, why not? Then devotee is replying, this is not the kind of mood we are trying to create here. Because you bring the book, Prabhupada unnecessarily has to see, he has to take trouble, then he will ask some questions. We don't want that. Let Prabhupada be listening continuously to Kirtan or reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Harikesh Maharaj, what? Are you crazy? Books are Prabhupada's life and soul. He cannot, showing off the books cannot become a troublesome for him at all. He will love that. So forcefully he takes the books inside and he shows to Srila Prabhupada. So he went inside and showed Srila Prabhupada seven different new books he had got printed, and he wanted Prabhupada to see. Immediately Prabhupada took the first volume of Krishna trilogy and held it up, looking, because Prabhupada is lying down, right? So Prabhupada has to see like this. So looking at the cover painting of Radha Krishna, Prabhupada began crying and reached out, trying to stroke Harikesh's head. When someone is happy with you, so they pat on the back or blessing on the head. So Prabhupada became very happy. There were tears in his eyes. So he wanted to stroke Harikesh Maharaj's head. He was a sannyasi then. So Harikesh reached out and held Srila Prabhupada's hand, thinking himself unworthy of being patted. So he was rotting here. So now Prabhupada is keeping his hand on his head, and Prabhupada is replying. He was rotting here, referring to Harikesh Maharaj. So he had been my secretary just before going to preach in Europe, especially in Germany. I said, you go. I had 10 servants, so you can go and preach in Europe. But that time Harikesh Maharaj thought it was a degradation, it was a demotion, because being a servant of Srila Prabhupada to going to preach somewhere apart from Srila Prabhupada, away from Srila Prabhupada, he thought it was a degradation. But Prabhupada is reminding him, now you understand why did I send you to Europe? Because you are just rotting here, just being my assistant, but you have lot of capability, you had lot of potential to preach. So now see the result, you have brought these 7 new books in German language. So that is the success of the preaching. That means you are working hard. You have the capabilities to bring out these books in German language. And then when the books are there, you do a lot of book distribution, your preaching activity will increase. So Srila Prabhupada, even in that hour, is not, is remembering a devotee's capability, and is not forgetting to appreciate his good nature, good activities, good capabilities. So then Prabhupada says, now you understand? Yes, I understand, said Harikesh Maharaj. So I wanted to be always very careful, very cautious. And when the moment Prabhupada saw the books, tears started rolling out of his eyes. That used to give him a lot of pleasure. That used to give him a lot of happiness. That the preaching Krishna consciousness is getting preached in the different parts of the world, throughout the world. So in another occasion, similarly, Giriraj Swami, he was also a GBC member. So he also comes to Vrindavan. Then Giriraj Maharaj used to meet Prabhupada quite often because he was in India. He used to take care of which temple? Bombay. All those struggle in 1972, 73, the fight, all these things. That time Giriraj Maharaj was the temple president there. So he used to manage. So he used to meet Prabhupada quite often. He would come wherever Prabhupada is there in India. He would travel, meet Prabhupada, take some instructions, because Bombay project was one of the big project and a dream project of Srila Prabhupada. So now he comes to Vrindavan. So he also regularly took his turn in the kirtan in the Prabhupada's room. He used to sing for Prabhupada, do kirtan for Prabhupada. So one day he wanted to go for he's in Vrindavan, so he wanted to go for some Goswami temple darshan. He goes. So then he came a little late in the night. So then he goes, by then Gurukula building, which is demolished now. So the Gurukul building was ready. So he went on to the terrace and he slept there only because it was late. So but in the middle of night, some devotees started searching for him. They found him on the terrace of the Gurukul building. They wakes him up and tells him that Prabhupada wants to meet you. So in the middle of the night, Prabhupada wants to meet me, and devotees are searching for me because he had just went and slept on the terrace. So then he rushed to Prabhupada's quarters because all the devotees were eagerly or anxiously waiting, because everyone knew any time Prabhupada may leave the body. Or any instructions from the lotus mouth of Prabhupada would be his last instruction. So everyone were cautious, everyone were anxiously waiting to even to take the advantage of the final instruction. So he thought, what, I don't know what is the situation now, why I have been called. So he runs to the Prabhupada quarters, he offers prayers, and he just goes next to the bed so that he can hear what Srila Prabhupada is saying. So Srila Prabhupada started speaking. Srila Prabhupada said just one word, organization. Then came one more word, organization and intelligence. So, organization and intelligence. Only two words came out of Prabhupada's mouth. He was established. Then he asked Prabhupada, is there anything else? So Giriraj felt within his heart that he wanted to cry out, Srila Prabhupada, stay with us. Because Prabhupada is with great difficulty speaking. So only two words he could speak, organization and intelligence. So Giriraj is feeling very sad and he's like, from inside he's feeling like, Prabhupada, please stay with us, don't leave us. So then Prabhupada said no. So then Prabhupada further continued. So all right, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada called him and just said two things, organization and intelligence. Prabhupada said, Giriraj offered obeisances and left. Outside Prabhupada's room, Giriraj continued. Sorry, before that, Prabhupada could finally said that Prabhupada mentioned two more things. So he offered obeisances and just went next to the Prabhupada's bed. So then Prabhupada asked him a question. First, he asked a question. Do you think that this movement can go on without me? So Giriraj Maharaj said, he was surprised to first hear this question. Do you think that this movement can go on without me? So then Giriraj said, I think, Prabhupada, that as long as we are sincere and go on chanting Hare Krishna and follow the principles, the movement will be successful. So then Prabhupada was silent. Then again he spoke. Then again Prabhupada spoke. Prabhupada asked this question. Then Giriraj Maharaj replied, yes, as long as we are following the principles, chanting Hare Krishna, we are sincerely serving, then organizations will go on. So then Prabhupada said, so as long as we are sincere, then Prabhupada spoke. Each word seemed to come with great effort. That with great difficulty Prabhupada is speaking. He uttered the word organization. Then he uttered the word organization and intelligence. So that's it, Prabhupada did not speak anything. Then Giriraj understood, yes, maybe Prabhupada. Then he asked, is there anything else, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said no. So that's what Prabhupada wanted to communicate. Then outside Prabhupada's room, Giriraj continued to reflect on Prabhupada's words, organization and intelligence. Prabhupada seemed to be demanding much more love and commitment. Not that ISKCON could survive on organization and intelligence alone. Giriraj was thinking that perhaps there might be the last words Prabhupada would ever speak to him. That was, for Giriraj Maharaj particularly, that was the last instructions. Organization and intelligence. So apart from being a devotee sincerely serving, following the principles, chanting Hare Krishna, one has to have a organization and intelligence. What is that? What Prabhupada wanted from him? That devotee has to be very, very vigilant with respect to the management, especially Giriraj Swami, because he was in the management for so many years now, especially successfully faced all the hurdles in the Bombay temple, finally established Bombay temple. He had a very grand temple for Radha Priya. So Prabhupada is giving that instruction to him. So always we have to be vigilant, like how in the case of that ringing the bell at every hour. So even the minute of the things, if we are as devotees, if we are conscious, then organizations can run very smoothly, very nicely. The moment we allow anything to slacken, small thing, that will allow the entire organization to break down. Even when Prabhupada met his spiritual master for the last time, when was that? In Radhakund, during Kartik month in 1936. In 1936, during Kartik. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was staying at Radhakund. So Prabhupada goes to meet his spiritual master. So then spiritual master says, Agun Lagbe, there will be fire within the walls of Gaudiya Math. So my disciples, instead of focusing on the preaching, they are busy in dividing the assets, busy in which who will stay in which room, especially Bag Bazar Gaudiya Math, which was one of the most opulent Gaudiya Maths of that time. So his sannyasi disciples were fighting. This room I'll stay. This room you should stay. No, no, this is much more opulent. I'll stay here. So then Bhaktisiddhanta Sarthakur, in a lamenting way, he says that if there is an opportunity to take out all these marbles and sell and print books, I could have done that. Because everyone is after this marble rooms. It was one of the opulent Gaudiya Maths. So if we forget that missionary principle, missionary spirit, then organization will be spoiled. That is the meaning which I think Prabhupada is trying to convey through organization and intelligence. One has to have a missionary spirit always. But the moment wherever some personal grudge, something which is anything which comes personal, superiority complex or inferiority complex, all these things will completely spoil a devotee's missionary spirit. When a devotee loses missionary spirit, obviously organization cannot run. So today, which is the Prabhupada's Tirobhav Divas, disappearance day. So we as disciples, what Prabhupada actually wanted us? Prabhupada wanted us to be always vigilant for our own spiritual life as well as for the upkeep of the organization. So in that way, he was very sure that if these things, if these instructions, if these principles are followed, then Maya cannot touch. In one place, Prabhupada says, if you go on chanting Hare Krishna, you follow the regulative principles, you attend your morning program, not only Maya's father or grandfather, great-grandfather, even they cannot come and touch you. So that's the assurance Prabhupada has given to us. So no one in the ISKCON, no one in the Hare Krishna movement ever feel that Prabhupada is not present. Why? Because that's the instructions, that's the way Prabhupada has guided us through his instructions, through his books. It's not just a statement actually. When Prabhupada says that I will guide you, I'll be present through my books, actually it is present, actually it's a fact. This organization, this movement is still run by Srila Prabhupada. The devotees, those who are coming, those who are dedicating their life, or those who are taking the Krishna consciousness seriously, it is Srila Prabhupada who is preaching. Srila Prabhupada who is motivating. Srila Prabhupada who is guiding them onto progress on the path. Whatever we are doing a tiny job, we are just trying to assist Srila Prabhupada, that's it. Rest all is being done by Srila Prabhupada only. So that is the potency of an empowered Acharya. Prabhupada was not just an Acharya. We have a Acharya's list, right, which is given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, edited by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So in that edited list of Acharyas, if you find between two Acharyas, there is 500, 600 years gap. Some Acharyas, 100 years, 200 years gap. That means that all the Acharyas are not mentioned. Only the important Acharyas are mentioned. Does that mean that others were not pure devotees? Yes, they were pure devotees. They were in the disciplic succession, no doubt about that. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur carefully he kept those only names, those who were empowered Acharyas. Those who were the true link of the disciplic succession. Since in the absence of an Acharya, sometimes some other pure devotees, they are also pure devotees. Unless you are a pure devotee, you cannot become an Acharya. You cannot become a recipient of the succession principle. So, but not necessarily they are Mahabhagavatas. So he kept only those names, those were Mahabhagavatas. Those were important Acharyas in the list of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya disciplic succession. So Srila Prabhupada is one such a empowered Acharya in this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So even in Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in 80s, he has predicted that what Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur prediction was that a person will come who will take this word throughout the whole world, and he would see from his Godruma Dvip, his personal residence, he would look at Mayapur And he says that a magnificent temple will be built. And in this temple, all Mlechas and Yavanas, Europeans, Americans, they will come and they will be singing the glories of Lord Krishna. They will be dancing, they will be singing and dancing. So it's all not that accidentally it happened. Srila Prabhupada is a true empowered Acharya. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so Prabhupada one place he remembers in 1896. That was the birth year of Srila Prabhupada. So that was the same year when Bhaktivinoda Thakur he wrote a book called Life and Precepts of Lord Chaitanya in English language, and he sent that to all the libraries of the universities in the whole world. He sent it to all the big universities in the world because it was in English language, they can read that. So that same year I appeared. Srila Prabhupada is remembering one place. So it may be a coincidence, but it is not just coincidence. It's not just a mere coincidence. It was a Acharya's plan. They knew that another great devotee will come. So whatever we have done, he will take that forward to the whole world. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established Sankirtan movement. He went around South India, East India, many different parts. So he was encouraging people to take part in congregational chanting. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's legacy, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after Goswamis, Bhaktivinoda Thakur tried to expand that to the best of his capacity. Then came Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He established Gaudiya Math. Then came Srila Prabhupada, which was Sankirtan movement. More or less it was confined to India or just some like Bangladesh or such countries. Of course, Bangladesh was part of India that time. So he took it to the whole world. So that was that prophecy was from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then another empowered personality will come. He will take the teachings of Lord Chaitanya throughout the whole world. And because of those teachings, the Mlechas and Yavanas, Europeans, Americans, they will come and they will chant and dance for Lord Chaitanya's glories in this Mayapurna. So he was a truly empowered Acharya. So as disciples today on this very auspicious occasion, we should remember, we should cherish Srila Prabhupada's instructions and keep those instructions as our life and soul. It is said that a disciple can never be able to repay the debts of the spiritual master. The only way he can try in some tiny way is to just try to follow the instructions of the spiritual master sincerely and try to propagate the instructions of the spiritual master. First follow and then try to propagate those. By doing that, we will be at least of some help in the movement of the Acharya Srila Prabhupada. With this, I'll stop here. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Tirobhav Divas ki, Itai Gur Premanande Hari Bol.